Hey, welcome back everybody to today's coding session. Let's get right into it. So we left off yesterday. We're working here on this networking application for the CS50 homework for their web development course. And so the idea is that we'll put 2 hours into it today and make a little bit more progress in our coding journey. So if you know where you are in your coding journey, if you're up to a lecture or you're up to some type of homework, then just stop what you're doing now, put your phone away, close out your email and your social media. Let's focus 2 hours just on understanding the code and trying to make the next step. So whatever the next step is for you, go ahead and do it. So for me now, here we're up to this application here that we're writing. And let me see exactly where we left off yesterday. Let's see in the, yeah, I think the first thing we'll open up the GitHub. And over here, although not necessary, is where I'm keeping track of just my project. Like I'm keeping track of it as, yeah, like as a regular software development project. And so here we have like the things that we still have to do and whatever we have in progress. So I think let's take a look. I think this is where we left off yesterday. Yeah, so the idea is that we push this following. Right now it doesn't do anything, but this link up here, it should take the current user. It should take the current user to a page that I guess in practice will look similar to this here. So it'll say whatever following, and then it'll sort all the posts here of only of the people that he's following. Fine. So in order to do that, I think we have to declare a new route. So let's see over here. Yeah, so we have this new route following. And we see that we have a name here that we can refer to it by name, not just by address. Again, all the first argument here to this path function is the path that's going to be on the web browser, right? So like / following, for example. But internally within the Django app, it allows us to refer to this also by name. And why would you want to do that? The main reason being, um, that Django is generating the URLs dynamically. And so if we deploy our application onto a server, on the spot, it's going to generate those URLs. So we're not hard coding them into the program. We're asking Django every time to please figure out what the URL should be. So that's why we're referring to it by name. So what that means is that if we want to make it appear so that when we click on following, always it's going to go into this following path and render whatever is over there. So yeah, of course, we can just add like a link to that, just like an an A element in HTML, and we can just put an href there, and in that href we can write in 127.0, whatever our address is here, / following, and we can hard code it in like that, and it will work for now because every time we run the server, that's our server address. But in the real world, once we deployed, that address could change. Obviously, it's better if it's dynamic. So let's do that in now. So this whole header here lives inside of layout HTML. And this layout HTML was given to us by, this was already given to us as part of the homework package So all we have to do in here really is just go in here and change a little bit of code, and that's it. Again, this following view should only be available to, let's see, it should only be available to users who are signed in. So one way that we are sort of sorting out if the user is signed in or not is with this if user is authenticated Django flag in the HTML template. This is one of a few ways that we are um, sorting out who needs to be there and who doesn't. So for now, all we have to do really is just to, yeah, so you see here we have this H with this following button, basically an A element. That element has an href. So again, as I said, we could just, in theory, we can write in here HTTPS like this, right? And then write in 127.0.0.1, 8,000 ports. Okay, and then we could write / following, which is the name, or which is the address of our path over here, right? We could do it like this, and if we reload here, yeah, and we click on here, you see it takes us to the correct place. It takes us to following. But again, this is not going to work in the real world because we cannot hardwire. It's bad practice to hardwire um, our links into the software. We should always let the software, and Django allows us to do this. And I'm sure maybe Node.js also and other stacks also allow. I don't have some experience with those, but I'm assuming that this is like a fairly standard feature of using modern web frameworks. So here, instead of referring to it by address, we want to refer to it by name. The way to do that is just to type in this flag here, this Django, I'm just going to call it like a Django function or a flag. It's like a function. Basically, you're telling it that you want to find the URL, which is called follow, and then you call it by name. So this URL is called following, and we could name this whatever we want. And here, we can write following to, for example, and then if we go back here and we reload, we click on following, you'll see it's still taking us to following, not following to, but we're referring to it by following to. But this following to is the name. So once it finds a name, it plugs in what the address should be. I think that's enough of that. Okay. Now I'm just going to change it back to following, just just to make it more readable. And that's it. I think that's step one. And here we've already built in like this following button is only available to somebody who is somebody who's logged in. Okay. And we could totally now we have that in here. I guess we got to figure out um, like what should be rendered here. Again, this is taking us to the path. The path is calling our view, but we don't have anything in our view yet. So let's see here. The question is, should we return here what like just let me just say here that so far when we are rendering an HTML page here, if I'm not mistaken, that we're rendering here nothing basically on the HTML side, meaning we've been rendering the same almost blank HTML page. I mean, almost, right? Well, we have the index HTML, right? But all we render is an empty div on the HTML side. And then everything else that the user sees is all being rendered dynamically using, it's all in React, right? Now, here in this index HTML, I just want to see here, this has to be rendered by somebody. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly where that is. Um, I think that's all coming from the index page here. Yeah, so it's like this weird thing where um, like when I click, so here we are in the default route. This is my index page. All I'm returning here is my network index HTML. And then inside of here, obviously, I have all this other React code, which is making all these API calls to render the post, for example. Now, if I click on test 2, let's say, and it really is giving us a test 2 profile, and then it giving us this option to follow, unfollow, which we implemented yesterday, and it's working correct. And it's also giving us a list of posts only for test 2 user. So it looks like it's a new page, but it's not. It's really, we're still in the index route. This is all being handled dynamically. So right now we wrote this as a single page. We wrote this as a single page application. So we could continue it like that, or we can write a new, let's call it following.html. And then when we push following here, it will take us to a new page, and that new page loads a completely new JavaScript, a complete new HTML page, which inside we would have our own separate JavaScript. I feel like in reality, it doesn't really matter how you do it. The only benefit I think it has pros and cons. The only benefit that I could see right away of doing it that way is that when we click the following here, our URL is already being populated with the correct information. So we do have a route called an address called /following, which is not so when we are in the in this other. So here we are like in the index, and if we click on a user profile, nothing changes up here. I mean, this little number sign shows up, but nothing really changes over here. This is all being done on the JavaScript. So something that we do still need to implement is using JavaScript, we need to manipulate the address bar to show the route that the user is in. And something that we're going to do later. I on purpose left it to the end because I don't know exactly how to do it right now. It's going to take time. And anyways, it's like a finishing touch, so to speak. I don't even think that the assignment is asking for us to do that. But I saw Brian teaching us how to do this in one of the lectures, and I thought it's relevant. Like as a user, you want to know where you are. Like it's weird that everywhere you click, your address doesn't change here. And in terms of space, so I think that it would be appropriate to make it a separate page. Um, and so we would click on following here, and it would render us a new page. So I'm just going to take a shortcut here. I'm just going to duplicate this index page here. Let's see how we do that. How do you duplicate this? I guess just make a new one, a new file inside of the network, um, inside of the template networks folder. Okay. And we're gonna call this, we said following dot HTML. Yes, okay, very good. And I'm just gonna copy paste everything from my index page and then delete a lot of stuff, but just to get myself started here. So from the very top, again, all of our secondary templates are an extension of a main template. Again, the main template is where our layout lives. So that's like the head of the, let's take a look at what that looks like. So that's our head tag with all of our, you see we have like all this code here that it really has to do with importing Bootstrap, importing React. We're importing our CSS file as well. So this is all like just importing all these random files that we need in order to run our program. And that in and of itself, I always found that a little bit weird. Like, yeah, we're relying on Bootstrap and yeah, we're relying on React. Cool, like it allows us to do cool things. But at the same time, like we are hard coding all these links in here. What happens one day if, I'm just curious, like what would happen if all of a sudden one of these resources all of a sudden becomes unavailable? What if they shut down React? Can you imagine? So now we are like, because here we're hard coding their server and we're making an API call to their server to get those JavaScript files and import them. And we're doing that like for every user, for every person that goes to this page, we're doing that again. So I've always found that a little bit weird that, you know, what would it's like electricity, you know, like what if the power runs out? Do you have a generator? So the same here, like what if these websites go down? How are you going to import those files into your app? Now your app is down as well because of them. So that's one thing said. I might be looking into in future live streams, future videos. I might be looking into possible solutions to that dilemma. Yeah, I would prefer just to import all of these JavaScript files and just leave them internally, like store them internally in my server. But maybe that's for a different time. But yeah, I don't feel it doesn't feel right to rely on someone else's server. And what if their server goes down? But I guess for the homework is okay. So anyhow, the layout, that's all we have in this layout. Is just to import our head files. And then we have the header, like this part here, the gray part. And then here we insert this div called body, and then we plug in, we make a space saver for whatever else we want to put in. And then that's it. So in our following HTML, for example, what do? We extend that layout file and we want to load the static. So load all those files that we imported. And then from then on, we just put block body. And then down, all the way down here, we put in end block. And everything in between is basically the code that would go inside here. So we are like writing, so the whole page sits basically in here, this empty space, fine. And of course, in this particular situation, they only gave us this nav tag, which is rendering the header on the top here. We could definitely, I believe, add onto this layout HTML page our footer. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. I think the page for that, the footer just makes it look a little bit more complete. So let's go on Bootstrap. And I'm just going to Google this, Bootstrap footer. And I don't see that many people using Bootstrap, like in general. Like I haven't heard about it too much. So let me know if you use Bootstrap like in the real world, meaning like for either for your customers or as part of your job or whatever. Let me know. Or do you use something else? I feel like part of me feels like Bootstrap is an outdated framework. I haven't really seen that many people using it. And you see here, just we're like trying to copy paste some things here, and look, the examples are from 2022, so that's already 2 years. ago. So I don't know, are they maintaining this repository or are they not? Okay, so I just want to add like a very simple one. Um, 1 second. Yeah, these look very nice. How do I copy these? Or do I need to go into the inspector tools? Is that what it is? Let's see. Tools, um, browser web developer tools. We go into our inspector and we see here um we have this thing here. I think this is um yes. So we're gonna open here for a minute. So yeah, this whole thing here, this is the code we trying to import, and it's a little bit weird that we're doing it out of the the console here. Um, okay, so we need basically from this div here. So we take the whole div. I wonder if we could just copy the whole thing. Copy inner HTML. Let's try pasting it, see if we have everything we need. I want to put it all the way down here, so it will be after the body. I want to put my footer. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like it worked. I'm not so sure about these. Um, yeah, I'm not so sure about the logos themselves. Seem to be a little bit messed up. I don't think those imported, but everything else seems okay. Let's try a different one. Let's see. Ah, maybe we imported the wrong one. Let's try this one. Copy inner HTML. Let's undo this. Paste and reload. Okay, so we have like a little footer here that seems to be working okay. Um, let's call this whatever, CS50 network app. Okay, and below here it should be very similar to what we had there. So it should be all post, following. Yeah, so we're only going to show this if the user is authenticated. Oops. Following and um, my profile, logout. Okay. Let's see, and this again should be if the user is authenticated and if okay. And if, yeah, very nice. Okay, so I think we good here. And if we click on test two, you'll see we still have this, um, what do you call this, footer. Um, let's try, um, this is a, let's try putting that into the footer. Let's see. No. Okay, so just leave it like this for now. Okay. So back to the following here. So again, this will be a separate page. So now that we click there, we have our URL is working, our link is working. Guess we can get out of layout for now. We're going to implement this following here. So we're extending the layout. Yes, we're loading static. And then if the user is authenticated, we're going to do all of this. I don't think we need a follow button, so we're going to get rid of it. And this whole subscribe, we don't need this. And this whole button, we don't need. The user details, I don't believe that we need that either. So child 3 also is going to go out. Yeah. A new post form, we also don't need that. New post form, yeah, we don't need this at all. So that's all of this here. Yeah, this is the whole, what do you call it? This is just the whole, this is the whole thing here. What's it called? The, just to make a new post, like a new post form. We don't need this. And this is what we're up to, I believe. Let's see. Okay. So post feed and main React window, we might need those. The new post form we don't need. And then over here, we're going to write following. And let's see. Okay, very nice. So I think this is getting us a little closer, and we're not returning anything at the moment. So let's return our index. This is all that it's returning. Basically, this view here of the following request. Let's see. Okay. And here we're rendering following. Okay, let's see. And so our following here, what it does is it sends a request to all posts, and it prints out all the posts here. So this is obviously not what we want. We just want to print out for the ones that we're following. And that's really one thing. And yesterday we said we want to phase out the all post route. So, and we want to replace it with one route called post engine. So this post engine is going to be a new route for any type of post request. I think that in the real world, this might even live as its own microservice, just receiving requests and print and spitting out the requested posts. And instead of this request, obviously we can write all kinds of conditionals here to detect what type of request we are making here. So let's do that. So we're not fetching from all posts anymore. We are fetching from now on into our post engine. So we're slowly changing this. And we are going to make this a post request. So that is like this. Let me see here. So we have our route, right? Fetch from the post engine. And this method post headers we're going to fill that in a second. Our headers our headers need to have something, and then body. In this body here, we want to add some information, some important information. So that'll be in a second. And so fetch from the post engine. Fetch from the post engine. Let's see. And I don't think we need this dependency here. So this whole thing here, we don't need either. That we might not even need the other two, but okay. And yeah. Also these, we don't need these. Okay. So this might not work anymore, but that's okay. Um, inside of my body here, I can just type in here Um, yeah. Okay. So this is what should be in the body. Okay, very nice. Like so. My request type is going to be following. Okay, so this is how I'm going to choose to handle this type of. I'm going to use this to handle what type of request I'm trying to make. Okay, so I'm fetching into the post engine. My method is going to be post, obviously. Over here, we could put our token here. I don't think we have to do that for now, but that would mean that in our post engine here, yeah, we already CSRF exempt, so we don't have to add the token here yet. Maybe towards the end of the homework, we just might take care of um, security and the links at the top for all the JavaScript stuff. That will be for the end. And so here, yeah, we have all this here, body, JSON, stringify, whatever. And then the response, we have the data. We set our post feed, and then we return whatever that is. Yeah, so we're using here to store our post feed. That's very good. And the main React window, you're calling our post feed. And we don't need any of the stuff here. You don't need any of the stuff here. Um, and we also want to get rid of this. And this. Okay, so that's that. Else user not logged in. Okay, so this looks more or less okay. It's a lot simpler than the previous JavaScript files we've been working on. But again, I think a lot of the heavy logic here will be on the server. So we're fetching the post engine again, are using a post request. And after we do this, we're sending a request type of following, da 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 da. So on the server side here, first we need to unwrap the JSON request. And this is the logic for a different route, but here we can input something cool. We can do here, let's just say following following view logic. Okay. And so here we want to write if. So we have the data now, right? If the data of request type is equal to equals following. So we're going to check. And right now, this is the only view that has such um, a request type inside of the JSON. So if the data of request type equals following, so then we know it's we're asking for the user's uh, following, the people that he's following. So let's go ahead and get all that. So first of all, our current user will be equal to user dot objects dot get. Now we're gonna query for the database here, where his primary key is request dot user dot id. Okay, so that's our current user, and we want to get all of the people he's following. So now following is equal to let's see our models again. So it's the follow dot objects dot get or filter, where the follower is equal to our current user object specifically, right? Current user here. And we can see what that looks like if we shell into our database. So that's a Python manage py shell, and then from network.models import all, and we're gonna paste exactly what we have here. Our current user equals this. Now in the PK, obviously we don't know exactly, so we're just gonna type in 3. That's the user I've logged in over there. Okay, that'll give us that, and then the following, we can do this. Now we can really paste this on, and then that. And if we click on following, you see we have 2 objects, which would make sense. We have test3 profile here. And we see that he's following 2. So these are the 2 that he's following. Now I see that something broke here. Let me take a look again. Um, yeah, so our backend logic here is broken, but that's to be expected. We're like in the middle of working on it. But just keep in mind that our user profile feature is not working anymore. But this, let's say the test 3 user does have, he's following 2 people. Here we have them following. So that's what this gives us, a list of objects of all the following. Now we can write some type of loop, right? So for follow in following, um, we wanna, so for each of these, we wanna get um, posts, follow post is equal to post um, dot objects dot filter, where the owner is equal to the follow. But what exactly in the follow? So let's see. So it would be following. Um, it would be a dot, or is here owner. Let's see. So it would be dot owner. Followed. Sorry, dot followed. Dot follow dot ID. I wonder. Yeah, dot follow dot ID. So we would have to put that in here. So follow um, where the owner equals follow, right? So that goes the follow object. Over there, we have to type in followed and then his ID. So now we're filtering all the post item or objects where the owner has that ID of 1, and that will give us, I guess, a list here. And requested posts equals to this. Yeah, so now we're gonna make a new list here to store everything. Um, so current user, yeah, so the follow post. So we're getting a list of all of that. And then I think I would like to iterate like for post in follow post. Okay. you want to say requested post dot append post item. I think something along the lines here. Now we could probably have a conditional to see what we're appending here, but okay, for now I think it's okay. So we have for following, so now we're getting all the follow posts. So all the posts for that one user that he's following, and then we take every single post and add it to the requested to this array here that we gave ourselves, and then we're gonna do that for every single user that he's following. Afterwards, we're gonna end up basically with a super long list here or array of posts that we want to sort according to the date. Um, so requested post. Wonder if this is okay to do. Request a post. After we have that filled in, we want to order by date. I wonder if this is okay. I have a list this okay. Yeah, so we have to use minus date. And I do think that this is okay code. So the current user da 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 da. We're getting all these posts. Now we're going to return these. So now basically we have ordered them here. So now we have all these posts that are ordered according to date, and now we have to format them. I guess very similar to the code we have here. Okay. And so that would be handling this part. This conditional handles the logic for request from following route. Okay, so that's that. And then we can write in here something else, even a little bit of code. Let's see. We have the index. Yeah, so here, not the old posts, not the new post, users, post engine here. So here we want to stringify also our request. I want to do a request type over there as well. Let's see. Request type. Okay. Okay, so the request type, here it's not going to be following. Here it's going to be user profile. profile. Okay, so here we can sort for that. If data of request type equals user profile. Yeah, let's see. Um, what's the issue here? Um, we have a problem here. 79. Yeah, here, let's see. Requested user. Ah, okay. We're missing a comma here, I think. That's the issue. Let's see. Yeah, so our O post is working again. And if we click on here, test2 profile, yeah, this is working nicely. And what's cool about this is going into our post engine route. And all we had to do was write a little bit of logic here to decide how we're going to obtain those posts. And it's all based on request type. So if it's following, we have a logic. If it's a user profile, which this is, then we have a different logic. And then in the end, after we get those posts, we want to serialize them um, into here. Now, the only problem that I'm having right now that I cannot figure out is how do we order um, all these posts by date. So over here, we're running this method on the database query itself. But over here, we're just putting all these posts that are from like different people into one list. And then this list doesn't have a method available called order by. So something to keep in mind. In Django, can I pass a list of objects to as the owner field? The filter where the Yeah, so perhaps where the object is in the list here. Okay, so perhaps that's all we have to do. Even our code will be a little shorter here. Um, so the owner here, following. So the owner will be following. And basically, I think we could get rid of this logic here. Okay, and let's put this back a little bit. So the following and this requested post as well, we can get rid of it, and also this. Let's take a look again. So yeah, so our following current user, whatever, following, the follow objects, follow that objects that filter, will be follower, current user, okay. And then the follow post will be post objects where the owner equals following. And then we want to order by um, negative date. Okay, that'll give us our follow post, and I will probably rename that to desired user posts. Yeah. So depending on the conditional, we're going to get a final desired user post variable here with all the data that we want. And the only difference is here between following and desired user. And then our data response would be for a desired user post. And our data response will be very similar, basically. An exception, yeah, so this is looking great. Actually, it's not even that much code. I mean, it's very simple code here, really. And we're handling, we can handle all of our post requests from this one post engine route here. Okay, so let's try it again. Here we have our test 2. That looks good. And if we click on following, let's see why we're getting a mistake here or an error. JSON parse. Okay, let's see. So that's our index, and then we have our following. So we're sending it into post. Okay, then we strip the JSON, the wrapper, and then we left with the data, with the raw data. Now our raw data includes, so it's data.userPosts, not data.data. User posts. If data.userPost is an array, set post is to data the user post, else alert whatever it is, and catch the error, and then post without map. That's our set post feed that lives here. Okay, let's try it again. Let's reload. Test 2, for example. Follow. This is okay. Following. There's nothing here yet. Um, yeah, so this could be following dot. Let's see the models here. Following. Again, let's see. Yeah, so we're just getting all of our follow objects. So it should be following dot followed. That's what it should be. So this our user post is all our objects where the owner equals following dot followed. Let's try again. No. The object has no attribute of followed. Okay. Let's see what the issue is. Is this code correct? You're trying to get all the posts from the users there. Yeah. With this line, desired user post correct. So it's filter. Post. Oh, this is cool syntax. I don't think I ever saw that before. So it's a follow dot followed for follow in following. Follow and following. Yeah, so we're gonna have to strip the followed users from here. That's what happens. So following here, or followed users equals follow dot followed for follow in following. A very Pythonic style of code. Follow that follow. So that'll strip the users for each follow object. So that'll be my followed users. And my desired user post will be post dot object set filter where the owner in, yeah, where the owner in the follow users, and we're gonna order by negative date. Very nice. Okay, so that's that. Let's try it again. And here we go. Here it's working now. I'm not checking so well, but I think they're all ordered correctly here. Yes, I think they are ordered here nicely. Okay. So that is working now. Click on following and we see that. We click on all posts. We see something very similar though. Following is okay. And if we click on a user, we just see his post. So now this is working nicely and it's all coming from one route. And I'm very tempted to implement this new route also for the all posts here. But I guess leave it like that for now. Okay. Following, and so if we take out test 1, for example, so let's see if we go to test 1, ooh, if we unfollow them, and we go on following now, we only see test 2 here. If we go to, again, test 1, we follow him, now we're going to see all of his posts here. So it's working nicely now. Now I do want to implement for the all post route here. I want to change it so it's querying our post engine. So that will be our index. So our post feed, yeah. So instead of going into here, um, we wanted to fetch from the post engine and our method is post headers be that. Yes, and our body is going to be all of this. Request type, all posts. Okay. And so now in our view, I'm just gonna for now copy all this here. Let's see. Our post engine. Let's do the third case down here. Yeah, and so here, if data of request type equals all posts. I think that's what we wrote in, yeah. And then we're gonna run this logic here. All posts equals data response. Yeah, so we don't need any of this. Okay. And this will be again desired user posts. We do have to change here that our what we're getting back is not data, rather data.user posts. So it would be yeah, all post, and then we strip data.user post if the array of data user post set post feed to data.user post else data.user post and then props reload, that's something else. Okay, let's see again. And it's working nicely. Now we can get rid of the all post route. Get rid of it. Very nice. So now we have even shorter, more concise code here. Now I see I'm getting an error here, so I don't even need the route as well. So I'm going to get rid of the all post route. And okay. Let's see again. So now it seems like it's working correctly. We have all of our posts. If we click on the user 3, um, no, it's not working. Let's see. So the ID expected. Um, requested user into our got it. So I think I actually deleted something that I should have not deleted here. That's my this ID data here. Um, so I guess I just have to copy that over there. Um, let's see here in the post engine, we said the all post, and let me just copy here. I'm just gonna make like some space here to know what I'm putting in, and inside here, yeah. So I'm just trying to compare the return here. So the body, we have post.body, date, owner, and so we just need to add as well this field here. Let's try again. Okay. So now it's working good. Okay, so here we have everything we looking for. So test 2, we can follow, unfollow, following. We could see all of our, let me go ahead and unfollow test 1. So if I unfollow him, we only see who I'm following. And I think we are all good on this one. Follow, all post. Very, very nice. Okay, so now this is all working correctly. And yeah, we got rid of our all post route. So again, now we only have this one post engine route. That just what serves all our posts, depending on the type of request. Then it packages it for us in a JSON response, sends it back. Okay. Um, okay, so let's read again. The following link in the navigation bar should take the user to a page where they see all the posts made by users that the current user follows. This page should behave just like the all post page, just with a more limited set of posts. This page should only be available to users who have signed in. So I think we finished this part. So we can go mark it as done. Okay, so we're marking it as done. Just gonna move it into here. Very nice. Okay, so that's done. And now we're on to the next thing here. So I do want to go ahead and go back to the homework page here. Yeah, so the next thing is pagination. Now, to me, this is where I got stuck last time. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I tried doing this homework a while ago, and I got super stuck. I was not doing it with React. I did it just with simple JavaScript. And this is the part where I got stuck. But now I think because we're handling the data a lot better, be able to get this done nicely. And then so pagination, users who are signed in. So pagination is the next thing we can do. So that's all this big thing here. We're going to put into in progress. And you see now we are more than halfway done with we're like 60% done with the homework. So this seems to be a little bit harder. So on any page that display posts, the post should only be displayed 10 on a page. If there are more than 10 posts, a next button should appear to take the user to the next page of posts, which should be older than the current page of posts. If not on the first page, a previous button should appear to take the user to the previous page of posts as well. So I have no idea how to do that. Let's see. How do we implement? Oh, do we implement pagination in React and Django? Let's see. Okay, so it seems like we need to use React to keep track of the page. So I think in the request to our a post engine, we're gonna have to add here. Um, we're also gonna have a field in the data called page, and that page will be an argument into this paginator. Um, it's a paginator class, and I do think that they give us a little bit of a hint here. Yeah, so um, yeah, this we did already. This I think we already done. Yeah, so Django's pagination class may be helpful for implementing pagination in the backend of your Python code, and the Bootstrap pagination feature may be helpful for displaying pages. So again, I think we need a way of tracking what page number we should be on. That's we're going to do that with the front end, and whatever number and that variable, that page number that we want, whatnot, that's what we're going to send over in our post request here. So we'll add a field. Um, we'll add a field to, for example, let's start with all post route. Yeah, so here in the request type, we're gonna even have a second argument here, like a page number. And there might be some involved logic there because we have to keep track of how many pages we have from the back. So backend would have to send the front end, hey, you have 5 pages available, and that way we can display a little menu on the bottom with the page numbers. And then somehow in the front end, we keep track of what page from within that we want. That's what we submit to our post engine. And so, the course is giving us this as a reference. And so this is like the main thing that we need to know. This is going to help us understand everything, I think. So what this does is it takes a query set. So it takes a list or an array. It takes something like a data response. And then what it does is it splits that into page objects. And so the first thing that we would need to do is import the library. So that's this here. I'm going to delete the serializers here. I don't think we need that. Okay. Okay. um, so if we go into our post engine here, yeah, you see we're passing something called user posts, but I think we could also pass in how many number of pages. We could totally do that and then let the front end know what they're working with, and then use some type of loop in the front end to display a little menu for which page number you should be in. Okay. Okay, so I more or less have the idea, I guess, for how it works in the back end. Really, all my questions are how to handle this with React. Although here they are referring us to Bootstrap. So I don't know. Yeah, this is what it would look like. We use such block, connectors, da 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 da. Okay. Yeah, so we would probably need a function to spit this out. And the number of LIs is the number of p dot pages, or sorry, I guess p dot count or p dot num pages, which could also be p dot page range, or maybe that, I mean, that's just a way of running a loop. I'm not sure that we could pass a range as a value into the front end. So maybe we could just write p dot number of pages and then write some type of loop in JavaScript for the number of pages. Okay. So I think that's the first thing I want to um, yeah, so let's see here. I think we need to keep track of some type of page number here. So const something called page number, set page number, and we'll call it a state of use state 0. Okay, and then yeah, so we have a number of page and we have page number and then num pages. Okay, let's keep track of this as well. Const um, number of pages, then set the number of pages. We'll camel style it, and this again would be a default use state of 0. Okay. And so here, really, our data response is this big object that has a ton of posts, and that's where we want to um, run our paginator function here. And this number here is how many objects per page. So we set here that they want 10. So that's how we're going to do it. Return JSON. Okay. Paginate post. Correct. And so we want to start paginating that. So the way to do it is paginated posts. Let's see, paginated posts is equal to paginator of data response, and we want to make it 10 per page. And our JSON response will include our paginated post, but it will also include some additional information such as number of pages. So that'll be paginated posts dot num pages. Paginated posts. Okay. Paginated posts dot page. Okay. For now it's one, but we're gonna keep track of that in a minute. a number of pages, and then we also want to have a current page of a paginated, no, it's just going to be one in this case. So whatever variable we used to keep track of that, we'll pass it as well. Okay, and I think in the back end, this is more or less the logic. We take whatever data response we end up with, we divide that into 10, we get paginated posts. Okay, and then which page of the paginated post? That should be inside of data data dot requested requested page, and we're gonna have to add that over here. So request type of all posts and requested or request page is equal to this is where we would put in our page number. And I'm not sure if you have to put that in brackets here. Okay. And then data of request page. I don't think we need to put this in brackets here. I think it's okay the way it is. So our page number is here. We're passing that as the request page. And so our request page, we want to store that on request page equals data of yeah, that's accurate, I think. So request page equals data of request page. And this is what we're going to pass into here. And so our current page will be the request page. Okay. And the number of pages. Okay, I think this is more or less what we need, or at least the background or the base that we need in order to make this happen. Okay. Now we do need to render some type of little menu at the bottom. And why not make that as a component? Let's see. Post feed and then paginator. That's what I would add down here. Paginator. And it's great because the paginator can have access to this reload here. So we'll get that in a minute. So our paginator will put that down there as a separate component, and now we have to sort of declare it. Post feed Now, I guess we could declare in here as well. Let me see. Yeah, I think we would have to declare inside of this other function, post feed, because this is where we're keeping track of our page number and number of pages. We can have that up here. So our path, let's see here, function, paginator, and it takes some props. And what does it do? It yeah, so it'll just be part of our post feed. So we have this like huge div that has all of our posts, and then right below that we write another div here. Um, div. This is where we're going to put our paginator. Okay, and our paginator obviously would take us props, um, page number and number of pages. Okay, so it's taking in our page number. Um, let's see, where were we? And it's taking in number of pages. And I think it also needs to, we also need to have this set page number here. Okay, set page. So that's our paginator. Okay. And what does our paginator do? It just returns returns a div. Um, let's see, just for now, world. This is totally broken now. Let's see. Yeah, so the adjacent blah 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 needs to be in separate ones. Um, I thought I did that though. Let me see. Okay, so it could be that we're missing like a div. One second, a div that unites everything. Um, let's try that. So we need like instead of having two divs, we have really one div and that. Yeah, let's see. So all our posts now are messed up here. Looks like. Okay. Hey, shout out to Terminator Gamer. Hey, you say you have a few questions, so yeah, just ask them here and I'll try to answer them. Yeah. Let's try again. Object of type page is not JSON serial. Okay. Which is where? Yeah, so here we're requesting page 0, and it's giving us the page number is less than 1. So I guess the default use state here should always be 1. And I guess the default here should also always be 1. Okay. Um, but then it's saying that the object of type page is not JSON serializable. Um, why is that? Yeah, so I think it's the issues here. Um, um, I wonder what the output of this code here is. So its object of type page is not JSON serializable. Um, there's a potential issue with this line. User post da 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 page. Okay, the page method of a paginator object returns a page object, not a list. When you pass this page object to raise and response, it won't know how to serialize it to JSON. You can convert the page object to a list before passing it to. Okay, that's the idea. So we just have to make that into a list. User post list. Very nice. Let's see if it works now. And it looks like it's working. We have all of our posts here. We should only have 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have this hello world here, which means that, I don't know, we're just testing our paginator, but eventually that's where our paginator will go. And so maybe that's what we need to implement next. And just for testing here for a second, let's change this to page 2 and reload this. So notice that the June 4 hello world, now we have May 27. So it looks like it's working, like it's really giving us 10 different pages every time. Here at the bottom, we have to implement a little menu. Okay, so here we're gonna have to write a ton of logic, conditionals and whatnot to to return like what the menu should be. Now I really want to do a dot map here. But we always want that to be 1. Okay. Okay, so this is closer to what we're trying to achieve. Right now it's not doing anything, but basically we have to write some logic here. And to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you would have 1 active here. Yet, there's like, as if there was an option here for a previous page, even though we're already on the first page. So that we have to optimize. think the best way to go about this now is to write some pseudocode here. So again, our paginator, we need to have some type of conditional here that checks if um, um, the number of pages equals 1, then we need to return render a menu with only one option. Else if the number of pages you know what? That's not what we need to do. Yeah. So at this point, I feel like I'm a little bit fatigued with all this coding here. It's like it's intense 2 hours. Realizing that we are nearing the end of our session here. So I think this is a good point to stop here. I think that we're getting into a lot of fairly complicated logic here, which will be better for the next session when we'll wake up and fresh and just look at it again. So that's it for today. I wish you guys all the best. And if you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the comments here or try to address them in the next stream. And that's it for now. So be well and wishing you all the best in your coding journey.